Here's the pre-chorus to chorus of Bringin' on Heartbreak. So that's a pre-chorus to chorus, and here's a breakdown of it. It's basically it's power chord, it's C power chord, at the third position, and also G power chord. You move your finger up to the E string at the third position. Is G power chord, and you got the D power chord at the fifth position at the A string, and then you got the B power chord, which is at the second position on A string. So the first part goes like this. So you play the C power chord, you play arpeggiated, you play the A3, D5, and you play D5 and G5 together. As soon as you play slide up to 7th fret and slide back down to 5th fret. Okay? And then you play the G power chord. So it goes from E3, A5, D5, back to A5. And you move your hand down to D power chord. You do the same thing you did with the C power chord. This time you slide from the 7th fret of D and G up to 9th fret and slide back down to 7th fret. And then go move to B power chord. You do the same thing you just did like the G. Okay? So that's it. So far I'm going to show you. Next part. So all I'm doing is I play the C power chord and play the G power chord. And it goes then down, up on the G G note on the low E string, slightly muted, so you get it. So every time you play the chord, so lightly mute twice, down, up, and you play a chord down on the power chord. So. And the last part, just let it rain out, slide down, and you play the 5th fret on the E string, 1st fret on the E string, which is F note, and he goes. So the pattern's a little strange. So you're only playing single note on the 3rd fret, and you play the octave on the 5th fret on the D string. So it's E3, D5. I'm sorry, E3 and D5. So 5th, 5th fret, 1st fret. So first you play the down string on the downstroke on this 3rd fret on the E string, and then down, up, down. So next part you go down, up on this on the 3rd fret on the E string, and then down on the 5th fret on the D string, and then up stroke on the 3rd fret on the E string. So it goes like this. The next part is just down on the 3rd fret on the E string, up on the D5, down on the E3. So you basically play the octave. So down, up, down. Alright, so the whole thing slowly goes like this. So you play the 3rd fret the last time. Quickly go back to 5th fret on the E string. 1st fret, 3rd fret again, and then down, up, down, up, down on the 5th fret on D, up on 3rd fret on the E, and then down on the E3, up on the D5, down on the E3, and then down again on the E3. Quickly go to 5th fret again. It's on a G power chord of the last part. So that's the pre-chorus and the chorus. Okay, so after you land on the G chord of the chorus, you go to the first solo. It's very short. It goes like this. So that's the solo, the first solo. What I'm doing is I play the 5th fret on the E string and 8th fret on the B string. But you play the 8th fret, when you play those two notes together, you gotta bend the 8th fret up to 10th fret on the B string. So basically you go from here to here. When you're doing that, your index finger is on the 5th fret on the E string. You're basically playing the A note on both strings because 10th fret is A, 5th fret on the E is A. So you go. So go twice. The 3rd time you just play the 8th fret on the B string. Go. Go. So you play the 8th fret on the B string. You bend up and release down. You play the 5th, 7th fret on D string. I'm sorry, 7th fret on the G string. So you bend up, release, bend it back up again without picking. So next part. So you play 1-3 on the low E string. And then you slide up the 5th fret on the low E and play the 3rd fret on the A string. And then you slide up from A string to 5th fret and play the D3. And then you slide from the D string to the 7th fret and play the 5th and 4th fret, 5th and 4th fret on the G string. So that's the first solo. And after that, it goes back to the whole thing that you already learned. Just repeats itself. And then and it goes to the second solo. Basically, you do the same thing you did the first solo. You saw on the 5th fret on the E string and the 8th fret on the B string. You bend it twice. Do it again. Next part. I'll play the 5th fret on the B and E together. And then play the 8th fret on the E string. 7th fret on the E, pull off on 5th fret. And you pick 8, 6, 5 on the B string. And 5, 4 on the G. So. And then you go. You play the 3rd fret on the A string and the 5th fret on the E string. And you play the 3 on the 3rd fret on the A string again. And then you play the 5th fret on the A string, slap the 7th fret. And you play 5 and 7 on the D, and then 5 and 7 on the G string. And you bend up, release, pull off on 7, and pull off on 5th fret, and play the 7th fret on the D string slowly. Slower. So far. Next part. You play the 10th fret on the B string one time, and you play it 4 more times, down up, and play the 8th fret on the E string 3 times, and then 9th fret on the G string, 10th on the E string, and then back to 9th fret on the E string, on the G string. So slow down again. I'm sorry. Next part. So you bend up for the 15th fret on the E string. You do it again, you bend up, release. So you play 12th fret on the E string, hammer on, pull off on 15th fret, 15th fret on the B string, 12th fret on the E string, and 15, 13, and 12 on the B string, and ends on the 14th fret on the G string. Next part. So you slide up to 15th fret with your pinky on A string, and then 12 and 14 on the D string, and then 15th fret on the D, 14 on the G, and 13 and 12 on the B string. Next part. We play 20, 19, and 17 on the E string, and then 17 on the B string while your index finger is still on it, 17 on the G, and slide, and then we play the 1 step lower, 16th fret on the G string, and it goes to so again the whole solo slowly. So that's the second solo. Okay, and the last solo, the outro solo goes like this. So that's the last solo. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing the 19th fret on the G string and the 20th fret on the B string. I'll play those 2 notes with my ring finger and my pinky. As soon as I play those 2 notes, I will bend the 19th fret up to 21st fret, while my pinky is still on the 20th fret on the B string. You don't move that, you just bend the G string up. So you do that 6 times. On the 6th time, you release down, You release and you pull off on 17th fret on the G string. You play twice on the 19th fret on the D string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next part. So after you play that, and then you go 19th fret on the G, on the D, and then 17th fret on the G string. Do it 3 times. On the 4th time, you play the 17th fret again on the G, and you bend up 19th fret on the G full step, and then play the 20th fret on the B string while you bend up, and play the 19th fret again on the G string while it's bending up, and release down and you pull off on 17th fret, and play the 20th fret on the B string. So again, 4, 5, 6. The next part, you bend up again on 20th fret, release down, and play 17th fret on the B string, and they play the 20th fret on the E string. So you'll bend up, and then you play the while it's a normal position, bend up again. Just like that. And then the 3rd time. So you play the bend up first, release down, play normal, and then 19, 17 on the E string, 20th fret on the B, and bend up again. So far we have this. Slowly again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next part. So it's 2, 4, 5 on the G string, D3, 5, 4 on the G, and 5th fret on the D. Twice. So that's the whole solo in the outro, and that's the entire song to Bringin' on the Heartbreak. Thanks for watching.